So this was the question provided to us, tilt of a binary tree, and like you must have seen the video, you must be knowing what the question is. I won't be explaining that in detail, but the main thing is what I've looked for. Like in this video, I'll be going through how I took the approach, and because I did not look for any hint or any solution video, I just brainstormed myself, and eventually it got right. So the process which I used was basically I started getting first, like I'll tell you how I got this. This was a function, tilt function, and what I saw is that we have been declared, we got a global variable till, and we just need to print this out. Like we are not required to print anything which is returned by this function. For example, this function is returning some value, just this is some xyz value. We are not concerned about this value. What we need to do, we need to form a tilt variable basically. Like if you have read the question, you must be knowing that how tilt is calculated by the difference of left sum and right sum. So the tilt with absolute difference, so the tilt for this will eventually come out to be 10 basically. So that's how we'll like that's how we will have values of tilt for each number. For example, for this it will be 0, for this it will be 0, because they do not have any left or right to subtract or to add, and then for this the tilt value will be 10, because absolute of sum of his left and sum of his right. And again for this 50, the absolute value will be sum of his left and sum of his right, and the difference, and the I'll write it here, absolute difference of sum of his left and minus sum of his right, basically node, like sum of nodes. So here we are, 10, 30, 20 and 40. So if you'll do it if you'll do it in a naive way, it will be 10 plus 30 plus 20. So this will be equals to 60, and this will be equals to 40. So if you want to find tilt for this value, then it will be equals to 60 minus 40 absolute of this, then this will be equals to 20. So the tilt for this is 20. Now we have tilt for each and every value, but eventually what we need to print is sum of overall tilt of like every value. For example, I'll explain. What we need to print is this 20 plus this 10 plus 0 plus 0, and tilt of this will be 0 again. Let me write it, tilt of this will be 0 again, because there are no left and right value. So you must be knowing the idea, like what I'm what I'm doing. So I'll be explaining my approach, like what approach I took. So first, I brainstorm on a thing, that the main thing, that the primary thing which I want from my tree. I'll make it, just a second. I'll make it again 50 and 10, 30, 20, 40. So the main purpose, the main problem which I was having is to find the sum basically. uh, what I'm talking about is, like for this 50, what you want? You want sum of his left and sum of his right. So my primary problem was, I need to calculate sum of his whole left subtree. And similarly, if there would have been a tree like 70 and then going around 80, then this will be 10, something, something. I'm just writing random numbers, 80. So I need sum of his right and sum of his left. Then I can take, this is left basically, this is right. Then I can take both of them and I can subtract. So I will have, overall absolute value for this. I will have tilt of this number basically. But remember, what we need to do is, we need to find tilt of every number, and the sum of tilt of every number is our answer. I'll explain it again. What we need to print is, basically what we need to print is overall tilt we need to find, and overall tilt is sigma of each tilt value in our tree. So, like it's a kind of overlapping problem, where for each value, for example, it's a x value. First, you need to find it tilt. First, you need to find it tilts, and it tilt will be equals to sum of left values, sum of right values, and absolute difference of these two values. Okay, So what I did is, first I brainstormed that I need a function. I need a function which can return me the value of whole left subtree whenever I am calling it. For example, if I'll call that function from 10, it will return me the whole left value. Because why I need that? I need that because I need to form a tilt for this number. Then only I can add the all over tilt basically. So I made a function of sum which is doing nothing. It's just adding whatever node I'm passing, it's just adding all the values and it is returning to me. So for example, if I'll call this function on 50, on this 50, if I'll call this left function, what it will return? It will return me this 10, 30, and 20. Uh, just a second, let me check. Yep. It will return the sum of these 10, 30, and 20. Then I'll call it for right. For right, what will do? It will do the same thing. It will return me sum of all the nodes on the right, 40, 70, 10, 80 ऐसे करके it will return. Now what I'll do of these value, what I'll make out of them, what I'll do, I'll take this left, I'll take this right, and I'll subtract them. I'll take the absolute value so that I can get tilt for my single value. This is for my single value. Like if I want to find tilt of 50, so this is the whole step I'll be going through. First I'll find the sum of left, then I'll find sum of right, then I'll store it into my tilt. This thing I'll explain what I'm doing. Basically, I'm taking absolute of left minus right, or you can do right minus left. Absolute is for treating negatives. So what I'm doing, I'm calculating tilt of every number, but I'm playing smart here by doing this thing by adding each tilt simultaneously. Like instead of going over, you know, through whole tree again, traversing it again for the tilt of each value, what you can do, suppose I'm finding tilt for this, I have tilt 0. So what I need to do basically, my answer is, I've told you now, my answer is sigma of all tilts basically. So instead of storing them somewhere, then traversing again and adding those tilt value, what I can do, I can directly add my tilt simultaneously while I'm processing the question. So for example, I found out that the tilt of 30 is 0. Okay, so I will add this 0 in my tilt basically. I will add this 0. Okay, then I found out that this 20 holds its tilt is basically 0. So again I'll add this into my previous tilt which was 0. So basically it's 0 only. Then I found out that tilt for this 10, how I will find out the tilt? 30 minus 20 absolute of them, so it will be equals to 10. So I found out that my tilt is 10. So I'll again add this 10 into my overall tilt. So it will be equals to 10. Then I found out for this 50 that my tilt will be equals to left. My tilt is basically 20 for this 50. I'll add it again into my overall answer. So that's how I'll be forming my overall answer. And one thing you need to take care is what you are returning, like whenever you are using recursion, because main thing is this function is called here, and this r is not used anywhere because we need not to print anything. So if this r would have been printing there, it will be a kind of mess, because we cannot, either we can return the absolute value or either we can return the tilt, but our tilt is declared statically here. So what we need to do, we just need to sum up our tilt every time we traverse, and we need not to like worry much about what we are returning. So it's like absolute of left minus right. Why I'm doing this again and again? Because in tilt I'm storing it, but for returning it, just brainstorm on this. If I called my function, if I called my tilt function on this node, what I am expecting from that function, I'm expecting that it will provide me with my tilt value. Basically it will provide me with my tilt value. What my tilt value will be? 30 minus 20, that will be 10. So I am expected that it will give me 30 minus 20 absolute if there are some negative values, so it will give me 10. Basically that's my tilt function is working. So that's how I went through this question, and you must brainstorm it once for your better understanding. And this was a like really nice question, so thank